Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're watching this. How we doing? Hope you guys are doing well. This is our third video brought to you by the City of Charlottetown. They hired us to do 3 videos for them, as well as provide them with some art kits. So that was lovely. This is number 3. This video is getting posted on Saturday the 26th at 9 a.m. and will be left up till Monday at 9 a.m. All right. This is going to be on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. If you haven't liked and followed us, go ahead and do that, please. East Coast Art Party on Facebook, YouTube. We have our website, all that good stuff. Anyway, let's just dive right into her. So, today we are going to be painting this lovely little one called Star Fox. I'm pretty sure that's what we named it. I think so. Anyway, I'm sorry. We just got so many paintings. So many. Thousands. Literally thousands. Anyway, we are going to dive right into this, and then I'll just ramble. Sorry, I got an itch on my shoulder. There we go. And then I'll just ramble. One thing, if this is your first time ever watching a video by me or East Coast Art Party, we like to have fun. It's pretty easy going. There's a reason we're called Art Party, not Art Class. You're still going to learn something, but we like to have fun along the way. All right, let's do it. Where's my big brush? Ah, there it is. It was hiding. There we go. Anyway, we're going to dive right in. First thing we're going to do is, with our large brush, whichever the biggest one you have is, this one's real big, we are going to take a little bit of white and we're going to start cross-hatching in the middle. And then as we work our way out, we're going to start picking up little bits of blue, in petit peu if you will, till we go out and it gets darker around the edges. Now when we get to the edges, we will cross-hatch a little tiny touch of black in there. Very, very small amounts. Okay. I also like to mention that this painting, when it was originally done, we used to use ultramarine blue. Since then, we have switched and we use phthalo blue. Still don't ask me how to spell it because I can't. There's a P, there's 2 THs, there's an L, there's like a silent Q. I don't know. Anyway. Cross-hatching, if you don't know what it is, we are just going to use the wide side of our brush, and we do a little brush stroke one way, tilt your wrist and do a brush stroke the other way. Kind of like you're making a little X, okay? That's all cross-hatching is. So let's start with a little bit of white in here, and then start working in some blue and a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of black. Very small amounts. You can always add more, hard to take it away, all right? And after we finish this first coat, if you're not happy with it and you want it a little bit lighter in the center, because you never know, every time I paint it, blending's going to be a little different, we can let it dry and we can touch it up after it's dry. But there will be a big fox right there, so we will need a pencil or chalk. All right, I think that's enough rambling on for right meow. Let's get to it. Also, if I move a little bit too fast for anybody, since this is a pre-recorded video, just go ahead, hit that pause button, take your time. There is no rush, all right? You shouldn't rush it. Just have fun with it. So I'm going to start with a little bit of white. Cross-hatch a little bit of white. There we go. Just get a little bit on the canvas, not much. As you can see, I'm not picking up big globs of paint. It's just small amounts at a time. Because eventually, once we get this done, we will want it to dry before we do any drawing. All right, I got a little white on there. Still got some on my brush, so let's pick up in petit peu de la bleu. Now, I do tend to wipe my brush just on the side of my plate after I pick some up, especially for this first part, because we don't want the center to be super dark. It'll get a little blue, but we don't want it too blue. And let's start cross-hatching a little bit of this blue on here. Bringing it into the white a smidge. Just a smidge. Dabble, do ya? And there we go. We're just going to keep adding till we get a nice background that we're happy with. Also, if this is your first time watching and you don't know, we also offer, well, we're back to doing some in-person events in our studio in Charlottetown, which is wonderful. It's nice that they finally let me have people around again because of COVID. All right. Where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought. That happens often. It does. It really does. Yeah, we do in-person events. We have our March break camps launched as well. So March break kids camps, those are awesome. It's always a good time. It's a week-long thing, but you don't have to sign up for the whole week. If you want your kids just to come for like a day or a half a day, we have all those options on eastcoastartparty.com. And you can pick whatever suits your needs, whatever you like. Those are a lot of fun because we paint. We'll do different crafts. It all kind of depends on the age group that I have. Now our ages, it's not limited to too much. Basically, we say 6 and up. So make sure to check that out, as well as offering online videos. We have a subscribers group that has well over 700 different painting tutorials. Yeah, 700. And 7 new ones every single week. There's a lot. All right. I'm just going back and forth right now, picking up little bits of blue, little bits of white, because I think I'm going to have to put a little bit more white in that center afterwards. Okay, my blue came in a little far. That's all right. Let's just get a nice little base coat on here. Again, no big clumps of paint. That way it has time to dry. It's not going to, take forever, but if you're sitting at home, you can always just go grab a blow dryer. All right. Also, we got a few events launched for outside of Charlottetown as well. Like we do have our studio in town here, which is wonderful. We've got lots of open space. We do have a bar with alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. We've got kids events launched, kids camps, so many things. Did an event out in Tignish there a couple days ago. That was wonderful. I believe we're going back to Tignish in April. We're going to be in Summerside in May. And then we're just trying to plan out some Montague and Surrey events as well. So that'll be wonderful. All right. Just finish kind of brushing this together, and then I'm going to fan mine dry with a plate just for a minute so that I can get a little bit more white into that center. Oh, I forgot to add a little tiny touch of black. All right, so around these edges, I'm going to have just blue on my brush, and I am going to take the smallest pinprick of black, and then I'm going to wipe it off on the side of my plate. We don't need very much of this. I just want the outer edges just to have like a little tiny touch of darkness. Just a little shadow. Nice and soft. There we go, a little blue. Little tiny pinprick of black. Whoop. A little bit much, so I'm going to wipe my brush off, grab and petit peu de le bleu. Yeah, we're going to brush some of that on there. There we go. Now, like I said, every time I do a painting like this, well, any painting really, it's always going to look slightly different, especially when we do a background like this, because we're cross-hatching, we're blending. It's going to be a little different every time, and that's okay. That's the nice thing about art. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. All right? As long as you have fun, that's what matters. So I'm going to clean my brush off here. That might be dry enough to get a little bit of white in there. I just want that center to be a little bit lighter on mine. See, my blue kind of came in a little bit further than I thought it would. And that's okay. And then we can take a drying break to let the whole thing dry, because we will have to do some drawing on here. Now, I do have basic shapes drawn out, and I will be able to put those on screen when we're taking a drawing break, which is different than a drying break. And then, of course, if you need more time to draw them after I leave them up on screen for a few minutes, you can hit that wonderful little pause button. That'll do. That'll do. That's nice. There we go. I'm happy with that. And remember, it's a background. Don't stress too much about it. Just gotta clean off my brush here. Drip of water on there. I'll have to put a little snowflake on that. Touch it up a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let's see. Let's go drying break. There we go. All right, so I am going to take a little drying break here. I'm going to fan my canvas. Drying break will be, I'll put a little timer on for, let's say 2.5 minutes, or let's call it 3. 3 minutes, and then we're going to come back, or no, let's do 2 minutes, then we'll come back, I'll put the drawings on screen, and then we'll take another break for the sketching part. That works, sorry. Kind of all over the place today, but you know, that's just life. All right, so 2 minutes. I'm going to fan this. I'll be right back so that we can do some drawing. Alrighty, so that was 2 minutes. I fanned that, it was nice and dry. Again, if you need a little bit more time to let that dry, just go ahead, take a little break, all right? There's no rush. You guys do this at your own pace. Also, when you are done, please post your pictures, I'll remind you again at the end, and tag us and the City of Charlottetown, because I absolutely love seeing everybody's artwork. It's like one of the best parts of this job is just seeing how everybody else follows along, and we all paint the same thing, but it's always different, and it's wonderful. I get a lot of joy out of that, so please post your pictures and tag us. I would love to see them. Okay, so this is the earth. No, it's not. It's a painting. Sorry. Going a little crazy talking to myself. These things happen. That's okay. There we go. Nope, that's not what I want. Sorry. I just gotta hit the right button. There we go. All right, so here are our basic shapes. Now again, take your time. You can do this in pencil. If you're gonna do it in pencil, you wanna do light little pencil lines. Very soft. You don't wanna put your pencil on there and press super hard, okay? We are going to be painting over it, yes, but light pencil lines. Or you can use chalk. Chalk is nice because then you can wipe it away. It's a little bit easier to get rid of. But starting up there in the corner, we have our basic shapes for the fox. It's ovals, circles, and triangles. From there, I overlaid the final product, so you can see how we kind of use those shapes to get this final product down here. And again, this final product, we don't want it to be really, really strong pencil lines if you're using pencil. We want it to be light pencil lines, just enough so that you can see it, and we can use it as a guideline on where to put paint. All right? So I am going to leave this up here for a couple of minutes, and I am going to put my fox on my canvas. And then before I come back to start painting, I will let you all know that I'm going to take these pictures off the screen. That way, if you need a few more minutes, you can just hit pause right then, and then come back at your own pace. Sound gooda? Gooda. Okay, that has been about almost 4 minutes. 3 minutes. So, if you need some more time on your fox, which is perfectly fine, go ahead and hit that pause button. If you have a fox on there, let's get to it. There we go. So you can kind of see my light little pencil lines that I put on here. Now, this fox is going to be done in a couple of steps. First thing we're going to do is his chest and chin area. Excuse me. Coffee. His chest and chin area, we are going to put a thin coat of white. So with a medium brush, we want a thin coat of white. Now you'll still be able to see some of the blue underneath it. That's okay. We're going to be doing a second coat afterwards. So, thin coat of white. And when I say thin coat, I just mean no big clumps of paint. All right? We just want to spread it all out so that it's a nice, even, thin coat. Because then we're going to leave that chest area for a while. And we're actually going to come back to it near the end. Because at the end, we'll have to do a little bit of overlapping with some whites so that we get a little bit more fur on them. But don't you worry about that. There's our first step. Nice, simple, painted in white. Okay, now we need to make some orange. And this is just going to be like let's call it like a medium orange. This is going to be our middle orange. Because afterwards, so we're going to paint a lot of this with just that middle orange. We're going to let it dry for another minute while we do something else. Afterwards, we're going to have to make an orange that is going to be lighter than this first one. And we are going to have to make an orange that is going to be redder than this first one. So this is our middle orange. We will be making a lighter one and a reddish one afterwards. All right? Because you can see on that fox how he's got multiple colors. That's what we're doing. But we're starting off with just a middle orange. So to make this middle orange, medium brush, I'm going to start with a nice big old scoop or two of yellow. And into that yellow, I'm going to start adding about half a scoop of red at a time. Because whenever you're mixing colors, you always want to add your darker color into your lighter color. And in this case, red is darker than yellow. So we're just going to add a little bit at a time till we get a good pumpkin orange. Once we have a pumpkin orange, we are going to add in a little tiny touch of white too. Like a little half a scoop of white. Maybe a touch more. But again, when you're mixing colors, little bits at a time. You just keep adding little bits till you are happy with your color. So we had a nice pumpkin-y orange, and then we added in some white. So this is going to be our main orange, our middle orange. We're going to use this to paint in the rest of our fox, except for his ears. And then we are going to do the ears. Then we're going to jump back and make some more orange. All right, let's do it. Again, thin coat. Because we will be doing another one. This orange could have used a little bit more white, but I think I'll just add some more to it after and do a quick second coat after we do some work on his ears. Well, the inside of one ear. The black part on the ears is going to come near the end as well. Like to do all the black parts at the same time. Just makes everything a little easier. So right now all we're doing is just filling in the rest of our fox. Trying to keep it a nice smooth, even coat. No clumps. And then his tail. Now his tail, when we drew it, I just kind of put a line, but we do want to add in a few spots where the tail's, well, taily. Where it's got some fur kind of sprouting around. So let's fill in the main part first. And then we are going to give it a few little taily bits, you know? Skinny side of my brush, kind of like little flames. Yeah. There. There we go. All right, now let's let that color dry, because like I said, we will do a second coat, because he does look kind of green right now. Now with the second coat, I am going to add in a little bit more white into my orange color, but that'll come in a minute or two. We'll do a few other things first, so that we don't just have to fan it. I mean, we might still have to, but we'll do a few other things first. Okay, so we got to do the inside of this here. Not the outsides, because those are going to be black. The inside of this here is kind of a skin tone color, kind of peachy. A nice easy way to make that color is with a scoop of white, little bit of yellow, tiny pinprick of red, and let's stir it together. I think I might need a little smidge more red. So it's not quite orange, it's more of a peach color. That's not bad. There we go. I think I'm going to fan this now so that we can do the second coat on this color orange in the ear, and then we can get into making our other oranges. Clean plate here, I do. Lovely. Alrighty. It's a good little base for them. There we go. Let's take ourselves another little 2-minute drying break while I fan this, or 2.5 minutes, and we will go from there. we're back. Sorry. Anyway, so I fan that dry. Just make sure my brush is clean here. I'm going to get a little touch more white into my first original orange. And then I'm going to do a second coat on this orange. But phthalo blue is also a little bit harder to cover up than ultramarine blue used to be. And adding white to the orange just helps cover some of that. So this second coat should be Gouda. And we'll do a second coat on the ear. And then we can start playing with making some more colors. Some more oranges. Well, like a light orange and then kind of like a reddish, fiery red. There we go. All right. Let's do it. Yeah, that's a little better. Little bit smoother, covering up some of that blue. Very nice. Oh. Ba-da-da-da. Sorry, I'm very focused right now. Very focused. Nice smooth coat. It's a pretty orange. I like that orange. There we go. Oh, so this weekend, well, when this video is playing this weekend, in our subscribers group that we have, where you can get an art party pass on our website. Oh, shameless self-promotion there. We have those. Anyway, in our subscribers group this weekend, we're doing a couple of cool things. Started switching up some of what I do there. Instead of just, a basic 7 paintings a week, I like to switch things up. So we also offer watercolors. I try to do at least one watercolor a week with them, whether it be watercolor paints or watercolor pencils. Those have been a lot of fun. I think that's a better orange. That'll do. That phthalo blue is real strong, though. You can still kind of see it. But that's okay, because we do have some other oranges to put on here. Let me just do that ear, and then we'll make some more. So I do. You said do-do. I do watercolors. Try to do them at least once a week, whether it be pencil or watercolor paint. We're also going to be offering a few watercolor events in our studio here for anybody who wants to come play with those. They're a lot of fun. I need a little bit more in here. But this weekend, started doing something called anything but a paintbrush. And this kind of stemmed from a little challenge that the subscribers gave me. There's a couple of regulars that watch regularly every day with me, and it's wonderful. I get to chat with them when I do the live ones. Love that part, that interaction. They kind of challenged me to do a painting without using paintbrushes, instead using just an object. And the object they chose for me on the first one was a toilet brush. So I did a whole painting with nothing but a toilet brush. And it turned out pretty good. Had a nice little scratchy effect to it. It was a scene with some mountains. I'm just going to talk while this dries for a second. I had a scene with some little mountains, little water, and I did put a tree on there because I wanted to keep it with things that I knew how to do really well with a paintbrush and try and do them with that. So I did that last week. This week, we are going to be doing another one this weekend, actually. Anything but a paintbrush. They tossed out suggestions again. I said basically I will take that list of suggestions, I will go to the closest dollar store, which was actually the discounter store in Charlottetown here, and I will go to that aisle and see what I can find. And what I found was self-adhesive grip tape and a sanding block. And I'm going to be doing a painting with nothing but those. And it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's just random. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be painting yet or how I'm going to accomplish it, but the challenge is to paint with anything but a paintbrush. And it's been fun. It's been fun so far. We only did the toilet brush one, and now this one coming up this weekend. But I think it's something we can keep doing. If not once a week, it'll be once every couple of weeks in the subscribers group. We'll see how it goes. On top of that, on Sundays, I like to try and cater those a little bit more to... hold on. Why did that... I like to try and cater my Sunday events a little bit more towards kids. There we go. So this Sunday, I am actually going to be attempting to make my own paint with household items. Things that I have in the fridge or in the cupboards, making paint and then painting a picture with it. So I think that'll be an interesting one as well. So yeah, we do try to switch things up a little bit, have some fun, and paint random stuff in there sometimes. Let's make some more oranges. So I need one lighter than this. Easy way to do that is take a little bit of this somewhere else, add some white into it so it gets lighter. Then we can take a little bit over here. We're going to add a bunch of red into it. Maybe a smidge of black. We'll see how it looks. So let's make the light one first because that's the easiest. Just start adding white. Okay, that'll do. Give my brush a little wipe off. Let's take some of it over here. Let's add in a nice big old scoop of red. So it's still going to be like on the orange spectrum, but more red. That kind of turned a little pink. Might be because of my white. Let's add some yellow back into her and a pinprick of black. And I mean pinprick. Itty bitty 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 little bit. How's that? A little bit more red. Looks kind of vermilion right now. Vermilion, if you don't know what color that is, it's kind of like an orangey red. Okay, I think we'll probably make this work. So we are going to start off with a little bit of this darker one. So I'm not going to wash my brush. I'm just going to wipe it off really well. Just to get any excess paint out of there. There we go. We're going to take a little tiny bit of this, and we'll start at the top and we'll work our way down. And with small little bits of this, we're going to start throwing on those darker spots you see on the fox. So it's not going to be everywhere. We're just going to slowly add little bits at a time. And then our lighter one can go over top of those. So if we accidentally put a little bit too much, don't worry. We can put a little bit of our lightest orange on top of it afterwards, all right? So let's see. We need a little bit of this up in here. Around the little ear part and behind the ear this side, kind of the back of his head area. Let's get a little bit in there. Just little brush strokes. Still using that medium brush. There. Let's get a little bit on his side here. And I am using the skinny side of my medium brush just to get nice little wispy bits. Wispy bits. Yeah. Let's jump down to his chest here, and then I'll come back up to that side. Again, little bits at a time. These little wispy bits that we're doing, that's what gives it the look of fur. Because fur on an animal, it has a lot of layers to it. So whenever you are painting an animal, say your own pet, you want to do lots of layers of little tiny brush strokes. And it does take time, but lots of layers, lots of colors, and little tiny brush strokes. And that's basically the concept we're doing here. We're just not adding as many colors. We're using 3 instead of using 13, you know? Little bits at a time. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Looking good, looking good. A little bit on his hip here. And then we'll move into his tail. Where we can get some longer wispy bits because it's his tail. There we go. That'll do. All right, let's clean off that brush, dry it off. And let's go back with our light orange. And let's put some of that on here. And that'll give us the dimension that we're looking for. 3 colors, that'll work. All right. So, lightly again. We're not getting rid of all of our dark red, or sorry, our dark orange, or reddish orange. But if there's little bits that you want to tweak, you can kind of cover them up a bit. We'll give him a little bit of fur kind of jutting off his back here so that he's not perfectly smooth. And it gives him a little bit more shape. Yeah. And less is always more, starting off with just small little bits and building it up from there. There's no need to rush it. You can always add more. There you go. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I do know that my colors do look a little different. One being because that's a picture that, you know, is on screen and this is the actual painting. But also the difference in blues, like I had mentioned to start with. That's okay. It's perfectly fine. All right, I'm going to clean this brush out really well because we only got a couple more things to do. Dry it off. Now, remember I said we were going to go back to that white chest? That is going to be right meow. We are going to give that another coat of white. And then we are going to cause it to overlap some of our orange, just a little bit in some areas. You can see it in that picture, how he's got little bits of fur from the white overlapping our orange. So it's not just a perfectly smooth line. So let's fill it in first with white. And then we can cause that fur to overlap. So I am using the skinny side of my brush, and I'm just lightly going to drag a little bit of white over top of some of my orange. See, very small little bits. Because again, you can always add more. Take your time with it. We just want to give them a little bit of fur. Just kind of gets rid of that perfectly straight line. Again, gives them a little bit of dimension. Okay. Now let's move on to a little bit of black. Now I am going to use my medium brush, but you can go ahead and use your small brush if you feel a little bit more comfortable with that. First thing I'm going to do is the ears. Then I'll switch to my small brush to do the nose and the eye. So this is just going to be a little tiny bit of black. This ear in the back is super easy. We're just going to fill that in. I say it's super easy and then I take a long time doing it because I have my medium brush. You know what? I almost switched to my little brush. That's it. Done. There's a little brush. There you are. Found it. There we go. Okay. And this other ear, it's not as filled in. It's not like the whole thing. We're just kind of doing this side of it. And a little accent on the other side. Okay, not bad. So it's not like a really straight line right here. Oh, sorry, my camera glitched a little bit right there. I haven't seen it do that for the rest, or the earlier in the video. If it did, I apologize. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and pop a little nose on them. So little brush, black. Take your time when you're doing black. Go slowly. There's no need to rush it. And as you can see, I do hold my paintbrush really close to the bristles when I'm using my little brush. I feel you have more control over it that way. Just lightly go. All right. I think his little boot needs to be a touch bigger. And then the eye. Now, you can put a little pencil line or some chalk on there if you want to first. I'm going to wing it, and we're going to see if this works out. We're just going to put it right about here. There we go. Cute! I could probably make it a little bit longer. There. not done yet. We do have to put some little stars, snowflakes, whatever you want to call them, around our background. And I am going to do that with the back side of my medium brush. So I'm going to dip it in white paint. I'm going to go boop, boop, boop. And I'm going to bounce around. You can get a few dots every time you pick up paint, but you do want to kind of bounce around. Now, I didn't put any of these on the actual fox. So that's why star fox, these are stars. If you put them on the fox, well, then he's a snow fox. And I mean, that's okay too, if that's what you want to do. It's your painting. There's no wrong way to do it. You can put as many or as few as you like. Hey, I'm happy with that. All right, so whenever you are finished with that, you are going to have to go ahead and do the most important part of any painting, which would be sign it. Go ahead and sign that bad boy. All right, so I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you again to the City of Charlottetown for hiring us to do these videos for you. I absolutely love it. I hope you guys do as well. Make sure to check out East Coast Art Party on Facebook, YouTube, eastcoastartparty.com. We've got so much going on there with events both in person, virtually, Zoom. There is an option for everybody, as well as art supplies if you're looking for any of that. We have that on our website. So thank you again. Hope you guys have a lovely day whenever it may be that you're watching this. Bye, guys.